Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Otávio Pitaluga from TAC. This is a great pleasure to welcome you. I have here today with me Mauricio Longo, one of the best experts in no-code solutions in Brazil. He has been working with this type of technology for quite a long time. And by now, I'd like to introduce Mauricio, not given his expertise, because of course he will say so much about it. His profile is all on LinkedIn. You can talk to him later by now. But then Mauricio is a very good friend and business partner of a very good friend of mine, who is Alexandre Strack. I know Alexandre for more than 10 years. Actually, Alexandre was one of those guys that I was pursuing. I was really chasing the guy, said, I want to become your friend and you need to accept it. There is no way out of it. And so after so many years of attempts, he finally said, okay, let's go. And then we have Mauricio as his business partner, also a long-term friend of him. And then I met Mauricio about 2 years ago. And then they developed this company called the Mundo Exponencial. And the Mundo Exponencial has been doing a lot of very interesting things that Mauricio will share with you. So before, by the time you arrive, please say hello, introduce yourself. I'd like to know your name and actually where you come from, because we are both in Rio de Janeiro, this wonderful and sunny city, in a perfect day like today. And we welcome you here. But then before, let's just make some little announcements. Number one is that we have Tech Lives, and we have a calendar of various lives in English. All our lives in English are scheduled to happen on Thursdays by 1 p.m. in real time, Brazil time, which means 6 p.m. Europe time, then also noon time in New York, and more or less 9 a.m. Western Coast, California, United States. Then we have Mauricio today. Next week, we have a very good friend of mine from my MBA program, RSM, Rotterdam School of Management, Serge Bock, talking about inspirational leadership. Then I have another friend of mine from RSM, Jerome Wittema. Jerome is an expert in valuation. From the day one he got to the MBA program, he said, I want to be an expert in valuation of a business of any kind. So that's the expert we bring to you. And then myself with another friend, Mario Palladini, we will introduce you to Chief Networking Officer, CNO, which is the Business Networks Manager, the Stakeholders Manager, a concept that I create on the website, on the Wikipedia. I coined this for more than 10 years on the Wikipedia, so I hope that you can come to this show as well. We also have lives in Portuguese. In Portuguese, they happen every Tuesday by 7 p.m. real time. It will be a little bit late for those who are in Europe, but for those who are in the United States, in America, in Latin America, if you happen to know some Portuguese or be able to follow conversations in Portuguese, then you are the most welcome. And have a full agenda. For example, we have the smart grid next week. Then we have also gamification for business, how to save money with solar energy, internalization of companies, investment in shares, future of innovations, how to win financial self-sabotage, LGPD and social media, global mobile electric mobility, and then business digital transformation, then an energetic matrix, smart cities, competitiveness, the area of consumer, and then again myself talking about a movie that I'm creating, then learning with leaders, how to create a startup, and female entrepreneurship. So it's a full agenda, and we also have this full agenda in English. If you happen to be interested with a very nice topic you'd like to participate, please talk to me. Okay, and then back here, back here, I like to say that it's not only about content we will be providing and access to an expert, but also networking. So if you created a business card like this with TechTech, by the way, it's only available for download on Android if you haven't created it before. It's a digital card where you can put all the information that you want to share, tags, your presence on social media. So instead of sharing, looking for people one by one, you go there. If you, for example, if you want to put one link and you click on the link and you have already put a PDF file, you can share the content as well. So it's a very practical, minimalist networking app that we have developed ourselves. So by the end of the event, Mauricio, are you ready? So Mauricio and I, we are ready. And we have only to click here on this icon at the top, right-hand side, and then we will exchange our contact details of all the members in the audience. So having said all that, is enough. Okay, Mauricio, now is our show time. It's a great pleasure to have you here. Do you want me to put your presentation now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Otavio. Thanks for the introduction. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to join us and watch this presentation. As Otavio mentioned, I created Mundo Exponencial a few years ago with a very good friend of mine. And we focus on how technology, or more specifically, the exponential evolution of technology, is impacting our lives and our businesses. With that in mind, and considering that only about 0.3% of professionals in the world know how to code, we decided that we needed to do something about letting people know that they can create digital solutions without needing to learn how to code. And for that, we created the BeNOCODER community. So this presentation, you will see a lot of interesting stuff about how you can use this technology, about which we are going to discuss, or that we're going to see in action to empower yourself, empower your business in the creation of digital solutions, because now is the time that we most need these kinds of solutions. So what are we going to discuss today? First of all, what is no code? I guess that's the first step, and an absolutely important one if you're coming to this live and having your first contact with no code. Then we're going to talk about the demands of the low-touch economy that we live in today, and how no code can empower regular people to create digital solutions. And then we're going to see an overview of no code tools. You'll have to excuse my typo there. It's not really a typo. It's just the Portuguese autocorrect transforming an AN into an NA. So first of all, let me back this up. What is no code? No code is a set of tools, services, applications that enable regular people that are non-technical, to create digital solutions. So why is this so important right now? We are living in a new era, an era that has been described as the low-touch economy, in which, because of the recent pandemic, several key elements that were already in play were shifted into overdrive. So as people were slowly starting to more and more order things through the internet. I mean, we all know that it's been going on for decades now, but still, on the retail market, internet ordering wasn't really over about 20% in most places. And those were the places where you had higher adoption. But the pandemic and the need to avoid direct contact with other people shifted this into overdrive. And we've had over the past year more growth in distance shopping than in the previous 10 years. So there is a really serious need for new digital solutions, because all the companies that weren't really taking a part into this in this online scenario, in this online world, they now need to, or they actually face the prospect of going out of business. So for restaurants, for stores in general, the number of people that come to their physical location has reduced drastically, either because people are afraid to do so or because they have been forbidden to do so. How else can they interact with their potential customers? The essential solution is through digital means. And this is where everything converges with the trends that we have been seeing over the previous 2 decades, but which were still, even though they gave rise to giants such as Amazon, they were still in the minority. Businesses that were really driving the online experience were still in the minority. But now, businesses that were still pretty much ignoring the need for having this online connection, this digital connection with their customers, are facing a really serious challenge. And I'm sad to say that here in the sunny and beautiful Rio, as Otavio described it, we've seen lots of stores, small shops go out of business over the past year because of the pandemic. So the ones that are hanging on, and sometimes the ones which are being able to drive their business in a new direction, are the ones that are embracing the digital world. So this situation, combined with a global shortage of professionals with technical knowledge, brought us to a situation in which everybody needs to create new digital solutions, but then they don't have anybody to turn to when it's time to do so. Because, as I mentioned earlier, we have about 0.3% of the population of professionals in the world, or the segment of the population which are professionals, people that are in working age and active, that know how to code, how to program. So how can you create a digital solution if you're not one of them, and if you can't hire one of them? In many cases, you don't need to hire one, you need to hire a whole team. And you'd have a designer, you'd have a UX expert, you'd have programmers. You'd have to assemble a team to create an app, for example, or website which goes beyond just presenting text like a blog. So if you wanted to do something which was a little bit more sophisticated, then you certainly need a professional. And even for things which are now simpler, that are things that a non-technical person can try their hand at. For example, if you wanted to create a blog, you can go to services such as Blogger, you can go to WordPress, and you can create a blog really simple. But then if you want to take it a step further and you want to add a little bit of commerce there. You want to sell something that you produce, like as an artisan, for example, or as a writer. Well, you get the picture. Then you'd need to have support for e-commerce, and then things start to get complicated. So over the past few years, and few are actually quite few in the general scheme of things, a new crop of tools has started to show up, and we call them no-code tools because they allow you to create digital products without needing to code, without needing to program. So this isn't like a hard, fast definition. There aren't really checkboxes for you to tick out and say, oh, that's a no-code tool, that's not a no-code tool. So there are some products and some services that kind of sit on the edge of what I feel comfortable calling a no-code tool. But when discussing this sort of thing, we try to bring into the discussion anything that will help a non-technical person to create some kind of business or to automate a portion of a business. So we're not really talking just about entrepreneurs creating new companies or creating new products. We're talking about regular people that are working in regular companies, making their jobs easier, automating some of their repetitive work. We're talking about facilitating the contact with their customers, providing better service through a digital solution without needing to have a professional development team. So using no-code tools, professionals can apply their knowledge directly without having to rely on others. They don't need to rely on a developer or on a designer, though of course not everyone is born with natural design skills, so your mileage may vary on how pretty your digital solution is. But cosmetic details apart, most no-code tools provide you with enough guidance that you are able to create a usable application or a usable website without you needing to be an expert designer. Of course, you might still get your colors wrong, if there is such a thing as wrong for colors, but in the end, you'll probably get a solution that people can use and can make their jobs easier, can help them achieve their goals, help their companies get in touch with more customers, sell more, that kind of thing. So what kinds of tools do we see fitting into the moniker no code? Well, over the past year, we have cataloged almost 200 tools. We're up to 190 some tools and services in 21 categories. So when you look at a specific category, what we try to do is draw in different tools which provide a certain set of features. Well, I guess features is not the best way to describe it. Well, that apply to a certain area of business activity. So, for example, creating a website or creating an app or creating an electronic publication, such as a newsletter or an ebook, and getting it into the hands of people. So we're not really putting into this category something which is a software that you would use to write a book. But if it is a software that helps you write your book and put it into the hands of people, then it might be making the cut, because then it actually replaces something that you would normally need to code. Because you don't really need to code to write a book, regardless if it's going to be published in a digital form or in paper form. But for selling the book, that might be a different proposition. I mean, you obviously can do that through Amazon these days and a couple of other companies. But if you wanted to sell it yourself on your own website, then you would need to have, generally speaking, technical knowledge and know how to use some of these tools that regular people aren't really used to using. I mean, I've been a developer since I was 12, and well, that was a while ago. So I know that for a person with technical knowledge, a lot of this stuff is quite easy. But for those that haven't had the benefit of knowing how to work with computers from an insider perspective, a lot of these things aren't really that easy. So what I'm going to show you today are a couple of tools that make this sort of thing a lot easier than it would be otherwise. And I'm going to start with a set of tools that I generally consider to be smart documents. So, and what are smart documents? Smart documents are a new kind of thing, I would say. They have been around for 4 years, perhaps, something of this in that range, 4 to 5 years. But they've really started to pick up steam in the past 2.5 years, I would say. I've been a user of this sort of application since about 2019, early-ish 2019. And today we run Mundo Exponencial, our company, entirely on top of a smart document platform. And when I say smart documents, it's because they look like documents, but they're a lot smarter than documents. They actually combine characteristics of databases, spreadsheets, and traditional like Word documents. But they're interactive. They enable collaboration and they can help you reduce the number of puzzle pieces that you need to put together in order to create custom solutions for your business, for your work. In this particular case, I'm going to show you a tool called Notion, and I'm going to stop sharing the presentation for a bit, and it'll start showing you this other window with the tool. So let me stop sharing here, and there's over full screen. There we go again. Okay, so what you're seeing now is an application called Notion, and right now I'm showing you it in the browser. And it's one of the interesting things about this sort of application. Like Notion works perfectly in the browser or as a local application on your computer, on a Mac, on Windows, on an Android, on iOS, on iPad OS. So you can use it on an Android tablet, on iPad, and you can have it access to your information from any one of those devices at any time, and you can share your information with your team. So that's where the collaboration part comes in. I'm showing you here, what I'm showing you here is a template that we created for project management, for example, using Notion, which allows you to, track what's going on in your projects. So This works very much like a document, what you do with Word, for example. And if you just wanted to get in some text, all you have to do is just choose a place where you want to write and literally start typing. So this is some extra text. Now, if you want to do more than that, you can actually input here all sorts of elements just by clicking. My keyboard's not really helping. Okay, just by clicking on the slash, and you get a menu of the types of things that you can create inside your document. So you have bulleted lists, numbered lists, headings, things, all the things that you're used to in a document. But then as you go on, you start to see other things that aren't really what you're used to seeing in a document. Like, for example, the ability to insert a table, a Kanban board, a gallery, a list, calendar, and even a timeline view. So let me create a new project here. And the way I do this is just by clicking here on it says add new project. But the interesting thing is that this is something that I placed in the document myself. This is not something which comes in every document. It's one of the elements that you can put into your document is the ability to create a button that allows you to create a new document based on an existing template. And so that's what we've done here. We created a new project, which is in itself another document. So I'm going to call it my project. And as it's based on a template, this template has a little bit of data in it so that you can actually see more easily how it works. So there's a message board for your project, and you can simply add new things here into your message board so that your team, when they come online and they look at your project page here, then they will see the messages you left behind, and you can check out what are your targets for this project. So these are like milestones. And we have here like launch Starship, land on the moon, some moonshot targets. But all this is customizable. For example, if I wanted my targets to be linked to a particular person, because that person is tracking all the tasks that are involved with this target, with this milestone, I could actually add a column here, which would say, let's see, let's call it supervisor. And I would say that it is a person column. And now I can actually choose the people that are part of this workspace as the person that is responsible for supervising the achievement of this target. So I'll just put my name here, and I'll put Alessandro's name here for this other target. So it's really, really easy for you to work with these documents and customize them to your needs. And as they have this mix of characteristics from spreadsheets, from databases, and from regular documents, they can actually allow you to create what will be essentially functional business systems so that you can track, for example, service orders, and you can exchange information with your customers, because you can have guests access some of the pages that you create here, some of the documents that you create, and you can differentiate what your team members see and what your guests see. So this is a very powerful type of solution that can be used today by people that don't have any programming skills to create interactive systems, interactive documents that allow them to share information throughout your company. And it is quite inexpensive as well. So if you're just using for yourself, like you want to organize your notes, you want to organize your tasks, or you want to track your collections, your reading list, whatever you want to do, you can use it essentially for free for your own individual personal use. And when you want to use it with a team, then you have a subscription of about, I believe, $10 or $8, depending if you're paying monthly or yearly, per team member. And this allows you to all share and edit this information at the same time, which is really powerful. So this is Notion, and I am going to show you another application which allows you to create mobile web applications easily without needing to code. So let's take a look at this other one. Just a sip of water there. So I'll stop sharing this one. And let's go for the other one. Share the screen again. Just pulling up here a project. Here. And let's share this. Even though I know it might scare you off a bit, I decided to open up with a reasonably complex application that is created entirely without any programming. These tiny little rectangles that you see there with the lines between them, these are the screens that you see in a mobile application. And the lines that you see there, they represent the connections between the different screens. So you can see from this screen to each other one you can get to. Well, this is a reasonably complex application that is actually the MVP for the BeNOCODER community that we have going on today. So I'll just show it to you briefly, but what you see here is actually a list of videos on YouTube that you can watch from within the application, and then you can see a short description of the videos about, and you can see what tools are mentioned in that video. So this one is actually about Notion, and see, for example, if I click on this one, then this one is about Glide, which is another no-code tool, which is very interesting for the creation of mobile applications based on spreadsheets. So if you are a spreadsheet master, this is another application that I kind of recommend that you check out, which is Glide. The domain is Glide Apps, if I'm not mistaken. But you can then favorite the video, you can favorite a specific tool if you're looking into the tools section. And this is now a bit out of date as we've moved on to a new platform to get the interactive community going. But it can still show you a lot about what's going on in this no-code space. So what you see here, for example, is a list of tools for the creation of websites. And these are all no-code tools. And for example, Card is one that we use a lot. It's a very interesting tool, extremely inexpensive. It's very easy to use. So if you're able to create a PowerPoint presentation, you should have no trouble in creating a website on Card. And you would ask, why would I want to use Card if there are other solutions because there are very few which are as simple to use as card. We have, for example, in our list here another one, I believe, which is called Doric. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, Doric, which is very similar to card. They have a few differences and a lot of similarities, but they are essentially no-code tools for you to create single-page websites. So if you need to create a landing page for a digital product, if you just want to put on your resume or a short portfolio page, then these are the tools that you would use. And what I'm showing you guys right now is this tool called Adalo. And Adalo allows you to create from scratch mobile web applications. You can use it to create native applications as well, but you will still be dependent on an online component because it is created for you to create applications which are for data sharing. So this data sharing component, which is an essential part of all Adalo applications, it's always cloud-based. So it's always available through their platform. But here again, it is the sort of tool that shouldn't be very hard for anybody that's worked with PowerPoint, creating some slides to put things in place here. And if you want to dive a bit deeper in how to organize your information, it would be interesting to have some experience using more sophisticated spreadsheets, perhaps, or an Access database, that kind of thing. But again, it is made to be very approachable. So what you see here, each one of these little sheets, they represent a different collection of data inside my mobile app. And if you want to create one, this one has a lot, but if you just create, for example, let me just create a new app for you guys to see. I'm going to choose that I'm going to create a mobile app, and I want to create a blank application. I'll just accept the default colors here. Let's say, let me call this tag. And I'll be extremely quick on this. So just out of the box, this is already an application that you can run. It has a login, it has a sign up page, and you can of course disable this stuff, but if you leave this stuff here, then people can already come to your application on the web and they can sign up for using your application. And I'm not kidding you when I say that to hook up this to Stripe, for example, and to charge a subscription on a credit card doesn't take more than 10 to 15 minutes. If you already have a Stripe account created, it's almost instantaneous. So let's say that I want to just have a list of contacts here. So I'm going to call this collection contacts. And I'm going to add some properties here. Already have the name, so let's leave that. And I'm going to add an email. And I'm going to add a company, just to keep this simple and short. So I have now what's called a collection of stuff. And this stuff is composed of 3 items: a name, an email, and a company, meaning a company name, right? So I am going to create a way for us to see the contacts that I have and for us to add a new contact. So To do this really quickly, I'm going to choose here that I want to create a list. Here we go. And I'm going to use this simple list. There we go. Let's just place it there. And then I want to be able to show the information there about contacts. So what I'm going to do is, what is this list of? It's a list of contacts. So how you want it to be sorted? I want it to be by name from A to Z, so alphabetical order. And of course, I need to be able to put some information in there. So I want to be able to create a new contact. What I'm going to do is I am going to choose to add a button here. And let's just say that I want this to be full add. See, it doesn't fit there. Oops. And oh, there you go. I changed the color by accident here. So let's, for example, change it again if I want to. Not by accident. Let's make it blue. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to say that this button has an action, and this action is going to be a link to a new screen. And this time I want to use a form. So it's over here to the side. And there you go. So again, let me configure this. So is a form. What does this, what kind of data does this form use? It uses contact data. And what I wanted to do is to create a new contact. So that's pretty much it. That's all we're going to need. What we're going to do is check it here. So you can see that the form has a submit button, which says create contact. And then it's got two actions. One which is create contact, and the other one which is a link back. So we go back to the previous screen. So let's run this. When you're running it and oops, coming into the that's weird. So it seems that the service is having an issue now. It's actually showing me the new project, but thinking that it's still running on the other project. So I guess I can't really show you it running right now. It's interesting event. These are very new tools, so you do get some quirks every now and then, but they're generally just minor events, and these things will sort themselves out in a couple of minutes. So, but let's not stand around waiting for it. I'm gonna stop sharing this and go back to the previous presentation. So share here. And there we go. Oh, it's there. Why isn't it showing? Otavio, can you put the screen back on display, the presentation? Thank you. So there it is. We were saying, smart documents, mobile app creation. These tools for mobile web creation, they actually make it really easy for you to create ways for your team, for your customers to access information about your business wherever they are. And this is something which just couple of years ago, you needed a reasonably sized team of people to create. Now, you can do it yourself if you take the time to learn how to use the tools. And it's not difficult. The more complex application that I show you guys running, that was created in about a week. Of course, that application was created by a person that has knowledge of software development. So even though that's not needed, it certainly makes things easier if you understand all the concepts that are behind what you're doing and what you're seeing there. But I can assure you that even without any knowledge of software development, you can become an application developer without needing to code. Are you going to be able to create any kind of application? No. These tools are geared towards mostly the creation of business applications. There are some no-code game tools, but they're still, I would say, in their infancy. But stick around, that they'll get there in perhaps another couple of years. So I guess this is what I wanted to share with you guys. And if you want to stay updated with what's happening, we have a newsletter about no-code. It's called the NoCoder. If you want to stay up to date with what's going on in the world of no-code, just go to BeNOCODER.com/welcome and join the newsletter. So I'll be happy to answer any questions that come up or any that you have, Otávio.
Well, I have many questions, actually. I asked you to make this presentation to our audience because I strongly believe that the learning, using this time in order to learn how to manage these tools is very, very important for anyone. For example, in my own business, like Tech, if I can create business solutions, we have today Tech for B2C and B2B, business solutions. And I just go to Adalo, for example, and I create some screens. I don't program anything behind, but I can give it the look and feel, and I can give it the sequence of clicks and how it will be, most likely. And then I can approach any kind of a customer and say, that's how this your solution, that's the way I thought or understood about your business, that your solution you look like. Even though I haven't developed all the codes behind. I didn't invest all the money. So if the guy say, okay, that's what I want, and how soon you'll be ready, then I can even go for a bunch of clients or prospects and say, that's the solution. I'll bring it to you within 1 month or 2 months or 6 months. And if you can start giving some payment, then you're playing a game. That's one of the cases that's possible to apply in real life, in business, the no-code solutions.
Yes, but you can actually go beyond that, depending on what the scope of the business that you're talking about. You don't really need to have anything but these tools. For example, Alexandre is very fond of a case of this young gentleman that created a company that supplies these little boxes with regular merch, like this cups and pens, notebooks, that kind of thing that you normally give to people in the company or you give to customers. And he actually created an entire automation for the business, including taking orders and tracking the processing of the orders and the shipping and charging the customer, all without creating any applications, just by combining different no-code services, up to the point where the company was making $5 million a year. So it's not a trivial business. $5 million, it's some money,
Yeah,
but
good money.
and he didn't really need to know how to program anything. He created no new applications. He just glued together, let's call it this way, different no-code tools so that he could use them to track everything in his company.
Yeah, another thing is perhaps it would be nice if you say to people more about the Mundo exponential world, the translation in English. And how many lives have you done, ebooks, and all your pictures, please, because it's really impressive. And the days of the week that you have your presentations and your trainings is really impressive.
Yeah.
And how many people, how many followers, all these big numbers of
Okay. We have now almost 400 videos published. I think it's around 380 videos published.
280 in 2 years, right?
In 2 years, yes.
My goodness, that's amazing.
We actually have, I think we actually have a lot more than that, because that's what's available on YouTube on our channel, Mundo Exponencial. But we also have videos which are exclusive to the BeNOCODER community. So inside the community, we have more videos, which aren't really available on YouTube right now. So we do a once a week no-code class at 8 p.m. Rio, São Paulo, Brasilia time. And that's about an hour and a half, generally speaking, of talking about no-code and showing different solutions, different tools, this kind of thing. So we do that once a week. We've now created a newsletter, the NoCoder that you just saw me mention here. The NoCoder is in English. The live classes are in Portuguese. We are going to start doing live sessions in English, probably still within the month of May. But in that case, they're probably going to be every 15 days. I'm not really sure yet. That's the reason why we haven't really published anything about it. So we're still coming up with the schedule for that. So we do have also some videos in English beyond those, which are of interviews with founders of no-code companies. We have 9 of them published so far. And these are conversations which generally go from 30 to 45 minutes about the creation of the company and their vision for the future. So that if you're interested in no-code, and you can see some of the founders of companies such as Adalo that I was showing you right now, the tool, or Bubble or Glide, several other tools and services. For example, we did an interview with the founder of CodeMap, and CodeMap is a site for I would say it's a no-coder marketplace, where if you develop no-coding skills, I mean, how to create digital stuff using no-code tools, then there is a marketplace where you can offer your services. And people that are looking for people that are able to do this kind of thing then can hire you through CodeMap. So I guess that would be it. I mean, Alexander would probably be mad at me because I haven't mentioned that I wrote books about software development. So I guess I should just throw in that I wrote a couple of books in my time, 13, I believe, mostly about software development and a bit about operating systems. So that's pretty much it. We're a company created by 2 tech executives that decided to help people to deal with how the world is changing extremely fast because of technology.
So in English, you have a couple of videos, right? And you have one ebook, right?
I've personally written 3 different ebooks in English, but as a company, we haven't really published one yet. In English, what we have right now is the Nocoder newsletter in English and the Nocode Movers Shakers video series, which has got 9 videos with these interviews with founders of Nocode related companies.
Interesting. And then how is the Mundo Exponencial growing in terms of international audience?
Well, that's one thing that is very interesting, is that there is a lot of interest in this topic. So without doing absolutely anything, I mean anything at all, just by having created a newsletter, we went from 0 to 200 followers in about, I guess, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But we didn't even, share the information that we created this with anyone, or made no comments about it. But obviously, in the Portuguese channel has thousands of subscribers and has had a very decent number of views overall. Now, these are huge numbers. I've lost the track of it, but we get thousands of hours of video watching every month, and it's very rewarding to know that in a way you're contributing to people to learn new skills. And it's one of the reasons that we actually created the channel in the first place. The world is changing very fast, and we see that there are a lot of people that haven't taken notice of the fact that it's changing so fast that if they don't look for ways to keep up, they may get left behind. So we wanted to let people find an easier path to keep up with what's going on, so that they can keep themselves up to date.
In your training, do you provide certificates? Do you teach the guys step by step how to be able to use to master, let's say, Adalo, so that it can create a number of different applications and say, look, you are able to be a no-coder, and you can offer your services to companies, let's say to startups or to even medium-sized companies. They want to prove their concept, and you are a no-coder. Do you think this is a position that could be available in the market very soon?
Yes. We strongly believe so. In fact, that's one of the directions that we are taking the BeNOCODER community now, as we foresee not only the position of a no-coder, a person that uses no-code tools to create digital solutions, but also of what we call a no-code architect, which is a person that can actually look at a problem and identify which no-code tools would be the best to be used to solve the problem, giving you, the best return on your investment of time and money. So it's something that with the growth of this area, it becomes necessary, because as I said previously in the presentation, we've mapped over 190 different tools and services. So how are you going to know which one to use? You actually need some help there, just to get a better understanding of what's available and what applies better to the problems that you have. Or else, if you just go and you learn one tool, you end up in this position of the person that only has a hammer, and so everything that he sees in front of him is like a nail that he needs to hit with the hammer. But sometimes you don't really need a hammer. Sometimes you need a more soft touch. You need a screwdriver.
Yeah, see, 190 different. My goodness. But you have your top 3 per each segment, right?
Yeah, we have tools on which we focus more, because we feel that they're more they're further along the development path and adoption by the marketplace. So we tend to focus more on those tools as we feel they will provide a more stable path for you to go forward. But then, depending on what you're actually doing, like if you're just creating landing pages, it's not that hard to create, like from a technical point of view, it's not that hard to create a service which provides this in a stable manner. So you can be a bit more bold in choosing a new tool which is easier for you to use, even if it hasn't been around for 8 years or 5 years. But it will save you time. And as we all know, time is money.
Okay. So let's go for the tech. Then we exchange our cards.
Yep.
I chose one card for you here. That is this one, the tech. This is the tech. I have many cards.
Yep.
But I chose this one. I want to share my Instagram, my LinkedIn, my Facebook, plus email, and if you type here on the symbol of WhatsApp, you go directly to WhatsApp. So that's one that I would like to share with you. Okay.
Okay. There we go.
Ready?
Ready.
So guys, appear Mauricio to me.
Yeah, and I've got a tab you here.
Yeah, can you show us?
Yep. Folks, the camera.
Okay, the camera.
It's having me out.
Okay, I understand. Okay, but anyway, I will send it to you. So it's okay. It was sent successfully.
Yep.
And then when you send it to me, it will appear here.
There it goes.
Oh, look. Then I can reject or I can accept. Of course, I will accept. And it's confirmed. Oh, that's simple. If you look into your contact, you see that you have my details. If you want to say hello to me via WhatsApp just to confirm that everything is okay, you just click on the WhatsApp icon, and then you can send me a short message. Very simple. Oh, it works.
Very simple indeed.
It has a global reach, and today Tech is available in 5 languages: English, Portuguese, Spanish, Italian, and in French. So these are the 5 languages we have. So Mauricio, I think that it was great to have this overview. So people, it is recorded now, so people can see later. And in concerning as far as tech lives are concerned, we also create a community with all our lives. And we expand in our portfolio in English, or even could be in Spanish. And so thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. I hope that people will get to know more about you now and as a reference in Brazil, and look for Mundo Exponencial. Thanks so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you for the invitation, Otávio.
No, my pleasure. Until next time.
Till next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.